Good morning, everybody. Ooh, my hair looks a little bit better today. I wanted to cover another aspect of why exercise regimes are actually doing damage to the body over a long period of time, and even immediately, depending upon where you are on the life spectrum in the matrix. Okay, so you see all over the place that everybody is trying to sell some kind of either personal accountability class where they're urging and how what else I would supporting people in trying to get up and go exercise for so many different reasons. And so when I created this protocol and I noticed that I was getting skinnier and my muscles were still being defined, and I found that I just didn't need to go and run around. I'm like, exercise actually puts a lot of torture and pressure on the body. And so if somebody is trying to build muscle, which is okay, someone's trying to lose weight, okay, they don't necessarily have to go and exercise. Now they can down the road, which was a little bit premature for me to think about, but as I was moving through the process, I noticed that when you do exercise, it does do damage to your muscles. But it's not just the pressure and the hormones that get brought up, it's also the lactic acid. But back then, I wasn't thinking about that. Back then, I was thinking that you don't want to keep doing damage to your muscles when you're in the middle of healing. So you need to chill out, rest, let your body repair itself before you put it through some kind of arduous torture. Okay. And so I came from the perspective not only giving your body a rest so it can heal, but also controlling some of the hormones, the dopamine and the serotonin and the adrenaline and all the things that that people are addicted to when they get into extreme exercise regimes. Okay. But then there was another aspect of that I didn't even think about and realize. And actually, Kevin, I'm going to give you more credit, Kevin, okay? Because through your research, in your perspective, you mentioned and talked about how lactic acid gets created by the ATP converting sugar energy into other secretions. And I'm sure you can say it better than I said it. But the body also has the ability to create lactic acid. And then when you bring in things like probiotics, like last night, and I talked about the kombucha, and I talked about the probiotic supplements and drinks and pills, powders, and all that stuff. When you bring in a bunch of lactic acid, it causes imbalances. But what is lactic acid? Well, it's a type of secretion that obviously the body needs, and Kevin will explain more of the background on that, but it also can destroy muscles, because when people are running, okay, and lactic acid gets built up, it destroys muscles and tissue. And then what happens is that when your body's in that kind of duress and it's being injured, it then has to go pull resources, minerals and nutrients to repair that damage. And this is why they say bring in electrolytes, because the electrolytes are the minerals that your body is losing when it's sweating, as well as when this lactic acid gets built up, because it's destroying things. So you can have an overabundance of lactic acid based upon things that you do and elements that you bring in that could cause an imbalance. So that's why the proper elements have to be brought in on a continuous basis to keep the balance. So yeah, you could be bringing in probiotics, and you could be bringing in kombuchas and apple cider vinegars. You can be bringing in just pure lactic acid. But if you don't have a way to balance it out, it becomes overabundant. And this is why I say, then it attracts pestilence. Then it feeds the parasites. Okay. And then, of course, Kevin mentioned at some point that when you put the probiotics with like the sugars and the kombuchas that have all this other bacteria that then creates a cesspool of crap, it also causes more issues. But the body creating its own lactic acid just in like a regular, symbiotic form, because that's just what the body does with sugar and energy, that's fine, but you're also keeping a balance with electrolytes. And that's what's in the J juice, is you have the lactic acid, and you have the electrolytes, and you have the micro and macronutrition. It's like a total perfect storm of a good thing. Okay. So when people exercise or they're doing labor intensive type of work and they're not bringing in the electrolytes and the strategic nutrition and the water and salt, which is part of electrolytes, and minerals and all of that, then you're doing damage to the body. It destroys muscles, destroys tissue, you're creating lactic acid. And then what happens is the body now has to rob like different systems to bring in minerals, to bring in nutrients, to go and repair the damage. And this is why you see people age very quickly when they're doing major amounts of exercise, or when they're like they're weather beaten, or when they're out there doing labor intensive work. And yeah, they're eating, you know, they're eating the regular food supply, but their lack of ability to absorb the nutrients is not replenishing their reserves. So guess what? The body then cannibalizes itself. And that's why you see aging in the face. And that's why you see some people are balding. You'll see the imbalances of where the minerals are being robbed and being taken and being redistributed to the body to take care of the vital organs, the heart, the lungs, the brain, the kidneys, all of that. Okay. And so this is why those that are in these huge exercise regimes are actually doing more damage to themselves as well as whoever they're trying to entice into that type of world. And so that's what aging is the fact that you have leaky gut, malabsorption, and the body is robbing minerals and robbing nutrients from different parts of your body. And then you see people's hair going white because the minerals are being stripped from their hair. That's why you see faces become sallow and gaunt, and you see wrinkles because you're losing the minerals in their face. Okay, that's why you see the breakdown of the body over a period of time of doing labor intensive work, or doing, like, you see the weightlifters. I mean, you guys have seen people who have done, you know, triathlons and pentathlons and all these different marathons, and they're all into the exercise regime, oh, I'm so strong type of world, and they don't keep it balanced. And so if you're going to do anything that is very athletic, very labor intensive, first you have to let your body heal first, okay? Because you don't want to come in with a deficit and not heal your body and do all this exercise and then try to drink J juice, but you're doing a little bit of J juice, all this intensive work or intensive labor stuff, and you're not resting. So the J juice is not going to do anything for you. You're actually just going to work against you. So you have to rest in the beginning of J juice. If you're all into this, it means that you're going to have to figure out how to balance everything out. Because if you're coming in with an 80% deficit and then you're trying to heal with J juice and you're still continuing with your usual lifestyle, the J juice is going to do nothing for you because you're doing 90, 80% bad with only like 10, 20% good. You see how the fractions work out. It's going to work against you. Okay, so high exercise, and then yeah, and so again, bring it back to the lactic acid. Lactic acid isn't necessarily a bad thing, of course not, but too much of anything will cause imbalances. Okay, and acid eats away at stuff. Lactic acid is great in small doses, but no different than fluoride. When you take any amount, like if you take fluoride in its most condensed form and you pour it on the concrete, it's going to eat away at the concrete. That's the whole thing with the holistic world and the whole, oh my God, fluoride's so horrible. It's putting holes in your teeth and all that stuff. Believe me, there's a lot more things going on that's putting holes in your teeth than just the fluoride in the toothpaste. There's a lot more factors that are involved, but we're into the demonization. Now, last night when I did that video, some people took my video in a way where they thought I was demonizing lactic acid. No, I'm not demonizing lactic acid, but it's about a balance. Okay, it's all about balance. And even though your body can produce lactic acid on its own, as well as when you bring in beneficial bacteria, but it could be unbeneficial bacteria if there's too much of it. So there, again, what offsets lactic acid, regardless if it comes from probiotics or from, probiotics, or it comes from your body creating it through the ATP process, it's the electrolytes, it's the salt, it's the minerals, it's the salt. Okay. That's what keeps the lactic acid from being overabundant, not eating away at your tissue and your cells, and then to put your body into a biochemical triage. And it's going to steal minerals and nutrients from different parts of your body to make sure that your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and your liver stay functioning, because those are your vital organs. Once those vital organs get shut down, there's nothing. So the body knows what's most prioritized. They knows what's most important. And your heart and your brain and your lungs and your kidneys and your liver are the most important things. So that's why you see people's muscles and you see their hair go gray and their muscles are hurting and their face and they're having issues with different other systems that are not saying non-essential, but they're not as vital as the vital organs. And that is the aging process, when you have malabsorption and you're torturing yourself with freaking exercise, creating overabundance of lactic acid, and the body has to go and try to offset that, but you're not bringing in enough. And even when you bring in electrolytes, okay, you have to repair and deal with the pain, and then you still have to get nutrition, the micro and macro nutrients. So that's why the whole thing with the J juice is a perfect formula for every single issue. Okay, this is the balance. We already have the balance right there. When they say when you get cramps, because that's like a rigor mortis, right? When you get cramps after running a long time, I did when I ran from Santa Cruz in California to Pescadero, passing the medicine stick, because it was a medicine run or something that I did in some class. I was in so much pain the next day. I could barely walk. The cramps, my muscles were stiff. It was like, I guess that's what rigor mortis is like when you're alive, because all this lactic acid was built up and no one told me to, oh, hey, go get electrolytes. Oh, hey, go do this. No, I had to deal with it. So my body had to steal resources, minerals, for it to actually go away. So yeah, the body can heal itself if it has the reserves, if it has the right minerals. But if you are running out of minerals, running out of nutrition, and you have malabsorption, oh, guess what? One day your body's going to shut down because you keep ignoring the red flags. When you survive your symptoms, it means you have enough reserves. So every single person out there, all of you that are watching me, that you're not doing the J juice, but you're having fun, enjoying your life, which is great. But why are you aging with obesity and cancer disease and chronic illness? Because you have malabsorption and your reserves are running low. And you're just ignoring it. You're just saying, oh yeah, I got maybe 10 years left, whatever, fine. I'll just go out with a bang. And I'm watching you guys go out with a bang. It's not fun to watch because I'm like, dude, you have access to this. Why the hell are you not applying this? Why? So anyways, so for those of you who are all into the exercise and you're not doing J juice, you are accelerating the death trajectory at a faster rate. Now, how you can build muscle and get a great physique and build endurance is allow your body to heal first, and you keep doing the J juice, and then you transition and you do not extreme exercise, but you just do light stuff. Maybe you do a little bit of weight bearing stuff to kind of give form to your muscles, but you have to then repair the damage. That lactic acid builds up and there's damage done. You have to go and repair that. And then you still have the muscles there because you're manipulating your body, but then you're also repairing the damage from that manipulation, that upset of homeostasis. That's how you have to look at every single thing that you do. Every single day, what are you expending? What are you spending? And what kind of return on your investment? You have to keep bringing the right minerals and the right conglomeration of nutrients to repair the damage from every single activity, from drinking alcohol to partying to going out and working every day, whatever it is, whether it's an office where you're expending hormones and stress, or you're going and bagging groceries and stocking a shelf. You have to go and replenish those reserves that you use to go and do your job so you can get money. Okay? That's how you have to look at every single thing in your life. And here's the thing, that's interesting. I've been feeling tightness in my teeth, a little bit of gums bleeding and stuff. So I'm having another healing symptom in my mouth. This is insane. This is pretty cool. I floss my teeth every so often. I don't use toothpaste. I use like a peppermint or, oil and water lightly, and I just brush my teeth and I mean, my tongue is relatively, pretty much yeast free for the most part. So it's like, I know there's healing. There's something going on in my mouth, and it's pretty awesome because I'm thinking like, it feels like, it doesn't feel like it's like almost like there's a piece of food in between my teeth, but there isn't, because I've been doing some flossing and nothing, there's nothing there. But I'm feeling a tightness, like I'm feeling my jaw being shifted. So there is definitely some healing going on in my mouth. I've never had any major dental issues. I think the last time I had some kind of fillings and all that was when I was a kid, and then they put sealants on my teeth. So I have amalgam fillings, I have composite fillings, like white fillings, but they also put a seal on my teeth. So I guess, and I have no idea if the seal has worn off or not, but I've never had any issues with my mouth or my teeth. I've noticed that when I did drink the kombucha, it did kind of disintegrate the top part of my tooth because the acid and the sugar, the lactic acid and the sugar. And so yeah, it was disintegrating. So just so you understand, it wasn't just the sugar in the kombucha that crumbled the top part of my tooth, but it was also the lactic acid. Acid, you guys, acid. Acid in overabundance eats away and damages your muscle tissue, your cells. And you have to repair that. And if you're not bringing in the nutrition, or if you're bringing the nutrition but you can't absorb it because you have leaky gut, then you're basically, your body's robbing itself. And then you're going to see your hair go gray. You're going to see the obesity, the aging, the cancer, disease, and chronic illness. You have to understand, even this action right here has to be repaired. Every movement that I make has to be repaired. Okay? That's how detailed you have to understand. Every single thing that you do has to be repaired. And if you're not giving your body what it needs, it's going to have to take reserves. So in a lot of ways, your hard bones and your good genetics is like an insurance policy for a lot of you until you figure it out. So yeah, you can keep partying, but how long can you keep partying and drinking and enjoying your life as if you have nothing else going on? Okay? So some of you are born with a deficit and you have to build up your reserves. Others of you have a lot of reserves, and so you can afford to party and enjoy your life and expend all this energy without really giving a return. But someday you're going to have to pay the piper and replenish those reserves. And if you don't, you're going to be stuck wondering why it is your life is going downhill. Okay? So that's one way to look at the J juice and exercise and what you do every single day of your life, and what return on your investment are you getting. And if you're aging and degrading, disintegrating, obese, cancer, disease, and chronic illness, you're running low on your reserves and you're ignoring the idiot lights on your dashboard. Have a good day.